Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, those holy prophets, Drew Ali. Amen. First of all, I'd like to rise, walking in Jerusalem just like John, giving praise to Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. Let's give honor to all of those and honor to all of you that have and will aid and assist us in this our divine and gigantic mission, the uplifting of fallen humanity. And last but not least, I'd like to give a special honor to effort, because so many of us don't even try. Praise Allah and honor the Prophet. At this time, I'd like to read from the Moorish Holy Quran. Those divinely prepared by our Holy Prophet Noble Ali for our earthly and our divine salvation. I'll be reading from chapter 48, and it reads on this wise. The end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days, to warn and stir up the nations and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Ali, who was prepared divinely, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men. Thus we just had a reading of the Moorish Holy Quran that was divinely prepared by our Holy Prophet Noble Ali for our earthly and our divine salvation. Praise Allah and honor to the Prophet Noble Ali. You know, I have a fez on, and this fez that I have on my head, I was reading in a book, and I seen a lot of people with other organizations had a fez on too. But their fez was tied down, 33 1/3, and mine swing 360 degrees. And you add 6 and 3 up, you get 9 man standing upright on the square. So today, I want to go into some of that science with you. And I want to start out by telling you about 2 friends of mine. 2 friends of mine, and both of them were born in 1949. Both of them were born in 1949. One of them name was Bernard Jordan, and the other was named Sammy Ware. Bernard Jordan was born in Washington, D.C., and Sammy Ware was born in Aiken, North Carolina. And when Bernard started 5 years old, he went to school. And he did pretty well, and he even graduated. But Sammy came to town from Aiken, South Carolina. He's one of them Bammers. Yeah, a lot of Bammers came to Washington, and we loved him, and we was family then. But Sammy came to school. When Bernard was in the 4th grade, they put Sammy back in the 2nd grade. They put him 2 grades back. Then Bernard was in 2 grades higher. And the reason why they done that was because Sammy was not born in Washington, D.C. They telling us that if you're born in Washington, D.C. or other states, they might put you back 2 or 3 grades because you are not sharp as those that was already here. So Bernard graduated in 1967, And Bernard graduated in 67 and Sammy in 69, 2 years apart. But all of them were the same. But I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about that because it's important, because we talked about this recently. We talked about in 1899. Reason why I say 1899 because I have uncles, pictures of them. Uncles, my father was living in 1899. My biological father was living in 1899. And this is when they changed the whole school curriculum, because they looked and seen that we outdone the Europeans that took these curriculums, and they said, man, I don't know how these things got up here, but I do remember that when I went to school, a lot of brothers and sisters that was there was mulattoes. You know, their mother was a European, their father might have been an Asiatic, and this might be the reason why they had this trouble with the school system. And I want to talk about some of this today because it's very important to me. I went to Moorish Home number 1 in Prince George, Virginia. And I went there in 1979. The reason why I say I went there in 1979, because I'm looking at a court paper here, trying to teach a lesson. And this court paper says that on November the 21st, 1978, a court case with Dr. R. Lynch-Bey and R. Loveville took place. And it was one of the best things that could have ever happened. So in 1979, I had a meeting at the Colony, Moorish Home number 1. And I had this meeting because Lynch-Bey and this brother Loveville, they talked about it. Because at this time is when R. Loveville gave Temple number 71 in Washington, D.C. a charter to teach this gospel. So today, I want to talk a little bit about this. I want to talk about it because I'm listening to a lot of people talk. I've listened to a lot of brothers and sisters that study these teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They doing a lot of talking. Now, you know, in 1954, the brothers out of Washington, D.C., began to learn about the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And when they began to learn about the Prophet in 1954, it was taken to the Grand Body to give these brothers out of Washington, D.C. a charter to teach the teachings of the Prophet. They refused it, said we're not going to take the teachings of the Prophet up there to these kind of brothers. All this is a good lesson. But the brother R. Loveville and Lynch-Bey made it possible for me to be able to go on Moorish Home number 1, and he gave us a brother by the name of R. Page Hill. Matter of fact, his son is doing real good in the Moorish Science Temple of America. He gave him this as one of our legal advisors to come in and instruct us. And this gave us an opportunity to learn some things about the Prophet, why these brothers and sisters were still in flesh. Now, when I first went to the Colony, we had a meeting with the governors there. There was a brother by the name of F. Nelson Bey. He had a son named Muhammad Nelson Bey. Him and the sister that was in the governors of the Colony. We had about a 2 or 3 hour meeting. And the meeting was about a dude named Cadillac Smith. I wanted to talk to him about him because he was on his way from Marion, Illinois to Petersburg. And we wanted to do everything that we could to keep him safe, because he was a brother that could have been a benefit, I thought. But on the colony, the sister that was the governess, after me having meetings about those brothers, she's told me something. She said that I'm still praying because I wish we had brothers who was around like the prophet was. And if that was the case, they would not have been able to get him because they got the prophet. This is a lesson that the old lady was teaching us. So we working on some things. We working on some things and working with brothers inside of these institutions. And there was a Lewisburg, and they had a basketball team there, and they had a brother that was from New York City. And he had a basketball team up there in Lewisburg, and he had a lot of brothers that was on from Washington, D.C., you know, that was on his basketball team, like Skeeter Brock and Dunlap. They had a lot of brothers playing on the ball team. So I was talking to him one day about a brother named Joe James Eel. I always hear him talking about Joe James, but they talk Joe James Eel, but they talk about him like he was a gangster. Joe James was a good brother. And what I liked about him, he could shoot that basketball real good. And those brothers up there in New York that was on that team, I used to say, man, I wish Joe was there to play with him. So one day, the brother was going to work in the Unicorn, teaching a lesson, because it's from those that's from the nation's capital too, because that's where you're from. And there was a lot of brothers that was teaching certain lessons, and this brother, Cadillac, he went to work at the Unicorn, because when he came there to go to, he said, you got to go to Unicorn to work. And man, one day, he went to work at the Unicorn. And when he went to work at the Unicorn, he had a whole lot of that marijuana, you know. And I'd rather for him to have that than anything else. And a man of his magnitude needs something to hold him down. So he went to work, and when they were leaving the Unicorn, the police shook down everybody. And when they shook down everybody, they shook the guy Cadillac Smith Eel down. And man, when they shook him down, they found a lot of weed in his pocket. And when they found the weed in his pocket, they locked him up. They locked him up in a hole, and they said they were going to send him back to Murray. But I went to Brother Loveville, and I went to Jeremy Bay, and I went to a chaplain by the name of Chaplain Jescute, right there in Petersburg. And we wrote a letter to the sources and the powers that be. And I explained to him the history of this brother, and he could be a benefit if you would let him out. They said no, don't send him back to Mern. But then I got a call, and they let him out. They let him out the hole. So in our meeting with the brothers and the sisters from Moorish Home Number 1, we had to let them know, brother, we're trying to grow, unfold, as does the bud unfold, to show the flower. So the thing that we used to do, we ain't doing them no more. The places we used to go, we don't go no more, because there's been a great change since we've been born. So we working there. And me working with him, I'm telling him, look at me, you done been to D.C., you really from Virginia. Because you're Alabama. You from Virginia. You know where you from right over there. You was in the joint over there in Virginia Penitentiary. So you need to come down here and help raise all these brothers and sisters up, because you went to the hole and we was dealing with you all this time, because you are loved from where we come from, because a lot of people love him. So he listened, And he decided later on, we got him out the hole. And I said, man, you can go down there and be the Grand Sheik, go open up a temple, and you could do a great work. But he said, no, I don't want to function no more. I want my own temple now. I said, man, I went through all that, man, doing all this for you, man, and you don't call these people before you got these letters, and you acting like this, man? I said, praise Allah. And the chaplain guy said, man, that man did all that for you, and they sent his brother back to Mern. But he didn't have to go back to Mern. He got back to Mern and got killed. Steamboat and all of them got killed. All these my homeboys. He didn't have to do that. He could have went out in the street and did the work of the prophet. So you can't serve two masters at the same time. And the bad part about it, I had a lot of friends of mine from Washington, D.C. And a lot of them got incarcerated. And when a lot of them got incarcerated, I tried to send them to the Moorish Temple of America. But it's hard to do that because the same brother's name that I called out, man, he had all them brothers under his wing, and he went up in most of them anyway. You know what I mean? So what's transpiring now? Now we got this black thing. We got the DC blacks. For man, I've been in the Moorish Temple over 50 years. We've been fighting, man, all these many years to tell our people that they're not Negro, colored, and black. And all those that was in the Moorish Temple, there's no longer, because a lot of them weren't there anyway. They just use that to be to get this done, or get that done, or bring this here, or bring that there. And we did all this in the Moorish Temple of America. But the prophet, I just showed this to a brother. He gave me a piece of work here. This is my birth certificate. And there's a brother named Wesley Walker Bey. Walker Bey joined the temple in 1954. He was the secretary of a brother named G.S. Hatchet Bey. And German Bey gave him the permission to file this doctrine in court. This is right here in court. File this doctrine, taken from court order file, D.C. Superior Court, and got the name here. That's where we filed that. So all those brothers that was Moors filed that paperwork that was in the Moorish Science Temple. Because you got a lot of people running around telling them they're Moorish Americans, but they doing everything that's diametrically opposed to what Noble Drew Ali said, and you come to a meeting when you want to come to a meeting. But this holy and divine movement that Noble Drew Ali established, you don't realize. Now, let me share this with you. There's two leaders in the Moorish Science Temple. Ain't but one now, but it was two leaders. You had C. Kirkman Bey, you have F. Nelson Bey, and you have J. Blakely Bey. But then you had Millie Hill, Small Bey, Lovett Bey, and Format Bey. And these two different groups, when the prophet came back from over in the east, and before he passed form, he took certain brothers and sisters with him. And the reason why he took these brothers and sisters with him, because these were the last days, and he was about to, they tried to get him 100 times. He said 100 times, they got me, and I got away a few times, but if they come back, I might not be able to get away this time. So the reason why people asking a question, they say, why is there two different leaderships of C. Kirkland Bey and Millie Hill? And what had transpired was this. I mentioned a book here that I have when the prophet is talking about all of those brothers and sisters that was with him, that what they did was they got a book called The Oral Statements of the Prophet. But all these brothers that gave the temple, things that the prophet said to them that they can remember are those that was real close to them brothers you call the Lynch-Bey brothers. And these are they, just like the sister that had a brother that was in Connecticut up there, when she interviewed these brothers that were with the prophet, you got to understand there was two different temples. There was some on this side and there was some on this side. But you got to understand that when the prophet passed for him, some of the members ran over here, some of them ran over there, and it was a struggle that we had. Because it's a struggle because we calling ourselves Moorish Americans today. We had no idea. We actually thought that by this time the European will be finished. All the stuff that they wanted will be gone, but we still Moorish Americans. We're not calling ourselves black today. We're not calling ourselves Negroes today. We have an Act 6 of our divine constitution and bylaws that I always quote when I come to a meeting. Everybody I know that said that they are members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, they know this Act 6. Because this Act 6 tells you what I told you that transpired when I went to school. They told me that I was Negro, then I was colored, and then I was black. And these names was given to slaves by slaveholders. This is why Noble Drew Ali say, Act 6 of our divine constitution and bylaw, Act 6 says, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So now we're talking about nationality. We're talking about going back, because he said we not Negro, colored, and black because we went into Spain as Moors. But you want to be black now because you still taking that money. We got the paperwork. We tell you that 1930 you left, and Elijah's son tells you that the first people that they ever seen wearing affairs in the Moorish Science Temple of America, Noble Drew Ali taught them, because they taught nationality. If anybody else teach you anything other than nationality, they working with the government. Because when we went into Spain in 7-11, we went into Spain as Moors. We didn't go as black. We didn't go as colored. We didn't go as Negroes. We went into Spain as Moors. When we fought with the Ottoman Turks in 1453 Byzantine to restore the Islamic creed, we were Moors. And we was not called anything other until after 1492. And I just said the 15th century when they took Jesus. When they took Jesus and buried Jesus in Vatican Square and took on the name. And we ain't looking at this. We ain't looking at this. We ain't looking at this. Okay, where's that? We ain't looking at this. Key 25. Let's go back here. Because we have a divine constitution. You know, I'm going to tell you something. Because I run into a lot of Moorish Americans. I run into a lot of them. And a lot of them really don't even know the Moorish American prayer. They don't even know the divine constitution and bylaws. This is a college degree. This is a college class. This is something that Allah gave Noble Drew Ali to bring to you and me. That's what we have. teaching our people their nationality, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government. Now let me tell you something else. Drew Ali knew what he was doing. Noble Drew Ali, when you look at our flags that we wear in the Moorish Temple of America, we have two flags. See? We have two flags. But now, a lot of us, we wear them different. When Noble Drew Ali first established the Moorish Temple, he had the flags flown different. That's why you see some temples still have it the other way. But the reason why Noble Drew Ali had the two flags different is because we're in America. And we're talking about the American government. Not only are we talking about the American government, but we're talking about the supreme issue that we have to deal with. And when we deal with this issue, being that the United States, being that the United States is the United States government. I remember when the Moors came to visit us one time, and we had Brother Gordon Hill, one of the Sheiks. And Gordon Hill was teaching one day, and he said, there's no flag right of the American flag. So if you find somebody that's flying a flag right of the American flag, then you need to know that something is wrong, because Drew Ali got a lot of writings. And in these writings that Noble Drew Ali had, he said that he was forced to make changes. All times are not alike. There's some things that he told the sheiks that he didn't tell other sheiks. He was forced to make change because they was on him. They was trying to get Drew Ali. They wanted everything. And all those people that's taking in millions of dollars and still getting all that money, they was trying to get him. But they couldn't get Noble Drew Ali until his work was complete. That's what the Sheik teaches us. Now, people complaining about the numbers of different temples. See, I'm saying these things because these are calls that I get. And let me tell you something. When we first started out, we was temple number 13 in Baltimore, Maryland. But in 1954, when it was hard for Noble Drew Ali to get a child to teach those brothers out of Washington, D.C. about the teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, what he did, he took the charter and gave it back. You got to get the charter back. If you ain't with the grand body of where you got that charter from, you got to give it back. You got to give it back. Because Drew Ali said that. And he also said, if you lose confidence in him, if you ain't doing his work, you running around, he said, turn in your card and your button and cease wearing your turban and fez and go back to that state of mind where he found you. Now, I got in this book right here that you got a lot of brothers, even in Baltimore, there was at certain conventions, and they still tried to use the certain numbers, but you got to get the numbers back. Lynch-Bey had to give Temple 13 back. He couldn't keep it. He couldn't keep it because he was no longer a member of 13. And if you out there got a Temple 13 charter, if you got any other kind of charter that didn't come for you, give it back. Give it back. Because in order for you to get a charter, you got to have a certain character, certain things that you must have that could be conducive to the growth and the development of Moorish America. That's why I'm saying these things. Don't seem like it's a whole lot, but I'm talking to my Portland listening audience. We have a lot of brothers here. We have a lot of sisters here that love the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But it's a lot of stuff that we took time to study and learn yet. But it don't take long. I know when I went to school, it took me about a month to learn my divine constitution and bylaw. That was years ago, though. But I had to learn it because I had to teach it. Let me tell you something else. I was a Grand Sheik way back in the early 70s for a long time. And right now, I'm still in contact with a lot of brothers that was in the temple. And you had a lot of brothers that they went through a lot of trials and tribulations because, you know, you had other brothers that carried them, had them doing everything that's diametrically opposed to what God say do. You say that you this, you say that you that, but you're doing other things. Things ain't proper. So I remember them Petersburg days. And man, that brother could have been one of the strongest. That brother was a lack. He could have been one of the strongest forces to help bring this movement back under one head like the prophets left it. But he went through trials and tribulations, went back and let them chumps get him. They got him right there. Same thing I told Steamboat. I said, man, you need to get in the temple to do the work of God so you can live. No, now no brother nowhere around. And the people need you. A many are called, a few are chosen. And what we really need to understand is when you say that you are Moorish American, they say, why are we Moorish American? It said, because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. Now you're born in America, but you're a descendant of Moroccan. If you're a descendant of Moroccan and born in America, then that means that we're talking about a different kind of character. See? Look at it. We're talking about a particular character. And this is why Noble Drew Ali came. He came to bring a character to us. It said men need a pattern for their life. They love to follow and not to lead. It said the man who stands upon the corners of the path and points the way but does not go is just a pointer, and a block of wood can do the same. So we're not talking about a block of wood. We're talking about grabbing on Drew all these teachings and teaching these lessons to our little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and their lower self, because man have two selves. He has the higher self and he has the lower self. The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life that breathes justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is the carnal self, is the body of desires, is a reflection of your higher self distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. So now we see that Drew Ali was forced to make changes. And a lot of times he's forced to make changes because we don't know. I was telling somebody earlier that you come to the temple not knowing that the temple is on a subject matter. You ain't been there for 100 years. You come in there. We're not talking about nationality. We're going to talk about that when we open up the meeting. But we have other subject matters. We have other planes. We have things that we are unfolding. It's a man unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. So when you talk about unfolding, you're talking about growth and you're talking about development. This is what the Moorish Science Temple of America is about. It's about teaching our people who they are, who their forefathers were. Teach them that they are not Negro, colored, or black. And Moorish American is your nationality. Now, who else? We're Moorish Americans now. Why are we Moorish Americans? Who are these Moroccans? Who are these ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa? Noble Drew Ali came in 1913 to redeem us from our sinful ways. He said to redeem us from our sinful ways, but it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the name and principles that delude to slavery. What is the name of principles that delude to slavery? What are the names and principles that delude to slavery? Because he said it is a sin. Now, Drew Ali tells us that there's something that's a sin. He said it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the name and principles that delude to slavery. So if you call yourself Negro, if you call yourself colored, if you call yourself black, if you call yourself Ethiopia, these are slave names. These names was given to slaves by slaveholders. Did you hear that? These names were given to slaves by slaveholders. He said in 1779 and lasted to 1865. We talking about 1865 now, during the time of slavery. Do you know this? It's right in your book. Do you know this? If you don't, then you're in violation. What about your babies? What about teaching these lessons to your children? They may learn to love instead of hate. You come to the meeting today, I talk to somebody, you go to your meeting today? No. Man, the prophet said attend your meetings. Noble Drew Ali said attend your meetings and keep in line with all necessities. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. All necessities. Whatever the prophets have right there, we need to become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts. But you know what I'm so happy about? You know, we have brothers and sisters now that's in the Moorish Science Temple. They've been there for years. Their families in the temple. They're attending their meetings. And you don't know how good it feels to see people, man, that's teaching the truth about themselves. Telling our people to learn to love instead of hate. See, there wasn't a prophet here in America. Drew Ali is the only American-born prophet. And what makes him a prophet? What did he bring? What makes him a prophet? He brings us back what we lost. What did we lose? We lost who we were. We lost that we was Moors. When we went into Spain, we was Moors. You don't hear about that today. You don't hear about it. You don't hear nobody talking about the Atlantic slave trade from the perspective that we're talking about, because we're talking about the Moors went into Spain, giving Europe civilization, bringing Europe out of the Dark Ages. You don't hear that. You don't hear that nowhere but in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And man, when we first heard that, we said, good Google moves. Allah has sent us a prophet. See? So now they say that Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet. That's what they say about Muhammad. They say Muhammad is the last and the seal of the prophet. But what kind of, how's that? The book says whenever a nation is in need for a prophet, Allah will send one. So why would he send Noble Drew Ali if we need a prophet? He sent Noble Drew Ali because everybody on this top side planet mud has a nationality, has something they could trace themselves back other than you and me. We're Negroes. Negro is a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contained black land. Then we talking about West Africa. We're talking about the slave trade. I got two son-in-law, both of them from West Africa. And they know that have something to do with the slave trade. They know that has something to do with nationality. They know these things because they studied, but they done took our mind. All our minds are gone. We can't even think for ourselves now. Drew Ali said, but if I can get you to think, that was what Drew Ali said. He told all of us, if he can get us to think, we'll save ourselves. So I'm telling us now, we need to stop thinking. We need to stop thinking. We need to stop thinking about the Atlantic slave trade, who our forefathers were, who we are, and about this Negro, colored, and black. Come on, man. 1 minute I'm Negro, next minute I'm colored. After that I'm black. Then I'm Ethiopian. And then I'm all these different names. Nobody else had to go through that other than you and me. We are the only ones going through this, and this is a part of the slave trade. I told you during the Atlantic slave trade what transpired. We just looking at it in the Atlantic slave trade. Man, we know everybody want to talk about religion, but this is what we're doing. During the Atlantic slave trade, we're talking about these issues. And the issue that we're talking about is issuing you your nationality card. Everybody have a nationality card. Drew Ali gave us one. And you know, in that nationality card, guess what they got on there? I seen Jesus. I seen Muhammad. I seen Buddha, and I seen Confucius. I seen all these names on your book. And see, when we begin to talk about Buddha, you have to understand that even before Buddha was, we were, because we taught Buddhism. We taught Confucianism. We taught all these things because the foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations found the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth. Why did they crucify Jesus? Now, if we're talking about the slave trade, why did the European nation crucify Jesus? They crucified Jesus because they wanted what Jesus had. And they had to crucify him to get it. I got a cape I'm trying to go on now. I got Brother Carter Bay over there. I'm going to get him. We're going to get this money for this caper. See? Same way the European did. That's what they did. They had a caper. And they came and got me. They got Carter Bay, put us in handcuffs and everything, just took everything that we had. They took our father, they took our mother, they took our nationality. And then, before the slave trade, they had a lot of brothers and sisters. We got caught up in their illusion. So, when I first joined the Moorish Science Temple, my instructor name was Lynch-Bey. And this was back in '73. And one of the things that he taught me was stay away from all those brothers that's messing with them gumps. He said because this is one of the reasons why we went into Spain to bring Europe out of the Dark Ages. They was in the Dark Ages. They was doing everything that was diametrically opposed to what God said do. So there's a character. So you talking about the brothers in D.C.? I heard them chumps say that. Brothers in D.C. is doing this. No, they're not, man. You always got somebody that's doing that. But the majority of the brothers I knew, because I was teaching, man, they call a lot of names. I hear them calling a lot of names. They call this name. They call Charlie Wide. They call Rough House. They call all them names. They call all these dudes names. But all of them was in the Moorish Science Temple of America. All of them was in the Moorish Science. Black Mackey, Papa Evans Bay. All them dudes was in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I had them working, ma. They talking about it. People still talking about they this, they that. They was all of that. But they wasn't no different than no other man. They just different. No different. You know, you need to get yourself together and learn the teachings of the prophet and help me teach these lessons to our little ones that they may learn to love instead of faith. Look at what Trump did. I said the other day where he told the girl Kamala Harris, say, I thought you was black. And I didn't know you was this because, but see, he don't even know. You know that woman ain't black. You know ain't nobody of African descent black. You know that. All you have to do is study the literature where it talks about the Moors that went into Spain and gave Europe civilization. The books are out now. So many books are out now you can't miss it. So all that there. So everybody know you wasn't Negro, colored, and black. These names was given to by slaveholders. You not black, you Moorish. Man today is what his forefathers were yesterday. And there is no one who is able to change man from the decent nature of his mother and father unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. So man, I thank Allah that I'm still around. I got a whole lot of brothers to go see now. I've been up here in Portland, Oregon, 14 years, teaching this gospel. It's been an honor. It's been an honor. And I was telling the brother about some brothers that's going through a lot of changes. But I'm a Sheik. I'm a Moorish American. You ain't got to worry about me up here in Portland or messing with no European woman, hitting nothing, or none of that kind of stuff. I'm on a different kind of mission. A many are called, ain't but a few are chosen. Drew Ali said that. We're on another plane. You can have all that. I'm giving back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. I'm talking about a thought pattern. Thought's the cause of it all. Everything comes from thought. Drew Ali said thought is the cause of it all. And he said if I can get you to think, you will save yourself. He said, through carnal thoughts and words and deeds, man tore himself away from Allah. He debased himself. See? So that's what we're talking about now. We got brothers out here on the battlefield doing a great work. But a lot of brothers, telling you this number, and you that number, get that stuff back if it ain't yours. Because you know what? I was looking in the book. And in this book, Drew Ali was talking to the Moorish Americans. And I'm going to tell you what he said. It's in chapter 48, the same chapter that I read earlier. Listen. And the reason why I want to read this is because we're going through some changes up here in Portland with some of the brothers. And the brothers that we're having changes with, these brothers is living and dating somebody other than Moorish Americans. And it said, we, as a clean and pure nation, descendants from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the family of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Salvation is a ladder reaching from the heart of Allah to the heart of man. And it had 3 steps. It said belief is first. And this is what man thinks perhaps is truth. Faith is next. And this is what man knows is the truth. And belief is last. And this is man himself, the truth. Belief is lost, and faith and infusion, faith is lost, and man is saved when he have reached the ethic life, when he and Allah are one. Every day I talk to God, because in climbing this Jacob's ladder, every round gets higher and higher. But I'm not the same brother I used to be yesterday. And it's good that I'm not, because I used to go for it. But for the last so many, man, things are getting better and better. But I ain't never been that bad anyway, because I was raised good with certain principles in my life. And Allah gave them to me. That's why I said that right now, a lot of my brothers I grew up with, Drop Brother Bigelow, Larry's son, Larry, Tahi, man, so many family members, friends that I know that's in the church. And these brothers in the church, but they done heard about Drew Ali. They done heard about him. And many are called, but only a few are chosen. Drew Ali told us that. Everybody ain't gonna make it. Everybody want to learn about Drew Ali, but we still want to dip and dab. We want to straddle the fence. No man can serve 2 masters at the same time. You got to love one and despise the other. And there have been many times I've served 2 masters at the same time. Why? Because of weakness. See? And weakness going to become strength. Because through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom we knew nothing. So we're looking in the book now. We're looking in the book that Drew Ali bought. And I told you in this book, there's only 3 or 4 chapters that Drew Ali bought. It's right in here. Ain't nobody asked me that question. Lynch-Bey, why you just got page 3 and 46, 47, 48? Why? What about the rest? I said, now if you look at it, you see that everything in them pages I just told you what Drew Ali bought himself. Everything else that Drew Ali bought came from the acoustic records. Acoustic records is universal mind. We had all these things back there with Jesus, Mary, because he had to bring us certain things because during this era of time, there was a slave trade. There was a slave trade. Our people went into slavery. You and me. We sold our people into slavery. Now we black. We black today. We black today. Everybody that I know is black. And we still call ourselves black. I can't wait to get home and talk to my granddaughter. I guarantee she won't be calling herself black. Not when granddaddy coming home. And you old enough to understand that now? God is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth is endured to all generations. So we talking about the Moorish Temple of America now. We talking about the Moorish Temple of America was divinely prepared by our holy prophet. Now let's look at these flags. Let's look at these flags. Let's look at what Drew Ali bought us. Let's look at the lessons that he bought. We got everything. I haven't bought this in a while. We got all these kind of books. I'm going to run all this stuff away so certain brothers get it. You need it. You need all this stuff here. You need it because these are things that Noble Drew Ali bought us. This right here is called a branch temple information. Everybody has that. I know all of you have that too. See right there, everybody? Brother Lynch-Bey. See, when that brother took over from Lynch-Bey, when he took over, each era of time, the Sheiks put something in, and being that all them brothers were still living, all them brothers wrote down to Brother Lynch-Bey things that they heard the prophet talk about. See? And we know, we give a lot of honor. I remember that I took a brother up there to see Jones-Bey and them. Took about 4 or 5 of us up there. Went all the way up there, 71, and he's supposed to met with it. But his method of application wasn't proper. But he thinking that he can tell them something. Them brothers been around for years. They got the mouth to ear from brothers that they've been around. Brothers got these lessons. Brothers know their lessons more. They ain't going to tell you everything. All the prophets basically give you your basic foundation. I said some stuff that you don't have to give to you. All you need is your basic foundation. You can go research it. But a lot of this stuff we already had. They've been giving it to. I got over 50 years in. See? And you got brothers that got more than that. They've been teaching. I just mentioned Wesley that did this about the name change. Wesley been gone. Wesley was born in the 30s, man. All them brothers born in the 30s. They come out and he sat with this brother that was with the prophet. And he was in Lexington, Kentucky. And he played the great. He said, what we need to do is we need to take these teachings and give them to the brothers and the sisters in Washington, D.C. because they was already in Baltimore. See? Prophet had 15 major temples. And Temple 13 was one of the temples in Baltimore. And you don't know how good it feels. You ain't going to see it yet because Drew Ali was an American-born prophet, the only one. Anybody else talk like that? Who else fly 2 flags? I heard people keep talking about 2 flags. And if you of Africa that's sitting on the flag, you can fly this Moorish flag. The red flag, 5-point green star in the center. You just taking money somebody else got your mind because we was Moors during the Atlantic slave trade. We was Moors. We went into Spain as Moors. We didn't go into Spain as Negro, black, and color. Let's look at this again. Because when I leave you, I'm going to get on somebody about this same thing now. We went into Spain as Moors. Man today is what his forefathers were yesterday. And there's no one who is able to change man from the decent nature of his mother and father unless his power extend beyond the great and universal creator, Allah himself. We got work to do. We got work to do. I got a lot of friends of mine, and all of them is getting old now. And some of them can't walk. Brother's supposed to have been on the show today. He's from Wichita, Kansas. He up there. We got a grand governor up there. We got a sister up there. We got a lot. And he's all right, but I wanted him to come on the show today because a lot of brothers and sisters can't teach it no more. They're too old. They're going away. Tomorrow might come. I ain't going to be able to get up here. I mean, there have been times when I ain't been able to walk because we old. But I thank Allah. I thank Allah that I'm able to continue to come here and tell everybody that they're not Negro, colored, and black, and that there was a slave trade, and that Noble Drew Ali was an American-born prophet. There's never been another one. Tell me somebody else that came and told you that you need to proclaim your nationality. Nobody ever done that. That's how blessed we are. That's how fortunate we are. See? I just mentioned my feds and how it's not tied down. Drew Ali didn't let us tie our feds down. Everybody else's feds is tied down 33 and a third. You got to tie your 33 and a third because you don't have 360 yet. And the only way you can break 360 is you proclaim your nationality. Nationality is the order of the day. Man today is what his forefathers were yesterday. And without nationality, you have no rights that a citizen is bound to respect. So now, everybody wearing feds. These feds didn't come out of Europe. They come out of Asia. Asiatic. And I didn't say Asiatic black man either. Because those that was in the Moorish Science Temple of America under Noble Drew Ali, that was a members of Temple number 4 in Detroit, Michigan. When they left Noble Drew Ali and formed that other thing that they had, see, they start calling themselves everything other than who they are. And it's important. And the reason why I'm dropping these things that I'm dropping today is we got to look at this. We got to take at least 2 or 3 hours a day sometime, or an hour a day, and get away and study these things to make ourselves approved, because the older we get, the time that we ain't going to have to do these things, we got to constantly put it in these babies. You say your baby want a Quran? I got one for the baby. Whatever the baby want, I got for the baby. But Allah is God, and Drew Ali is the prophet. And I came here today because it's still on our minds. All the Moors across the country, we're still going over that thing about this new Pope of Rome. Because you know, when we begin to talk about the Pope of Rome, we're talking about the 15th century. We're talking about when they took my Jesus, buried my Jesus in Vatican Square, and took on our name. And we ain't demonstrating this. We still with our friends, our buddies, our friends, and we still, and they don't think about this. Well, the time is about up. I continue this on my next show. So right now, I say, praise Allah and honor to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Thank you, my brother. My man. I'm over here running my mouth, man. Yeah. Man, I needed you, man. I appreciated that, man.
Oh, that was good.
That's why that brother ain't show. That's why that brother ain't show. No, Jonathan, you got that European girl, man.